famed for their strength and beauty, mind. And the women said, if all you guys are so wonderfully strong, would you go down to the testing stone of the island and see who could lift the stone the highest? So he, of all the men on that day, could lift the stone up to his chest. And he said that the shout from the islanders that resounded through his mind, he can still remember to this day. He was in his 80s now in the story, but he said 60 years ago when he done it, he can still remember the shout from the islanders as he raised the stone to his chest and kissed it 3 times. And he was reminiscing about the greatest day in his life. Right? O'Flaherty also wrote about the 3 different levels of manhood. You had the Gwe Fui, level 1, getting the wind under the stone. If you can get the wind under the stone, it was the greatest day in any young man's life. It was a show of strength. It was your passage from boyhood to manhood. I think that's a very beautiful thing. It's a toll gate to becoming an adult that we kind of don't have anymore. And it's a way of showing your strength and your power. Level 2 was you could get that stone up to your lap. If you could lap that stone, bring it all the way up and into your lap, then you're a champion, equal to the best. But if you could raise that stone all the way up to your chest, you're a phenomenon of strength to be spoken about for generations on the island. And like, this is in a time where there was no mechanical aids, there was no such thing as machinery. So if your strength was your worth, if you were a strong person, you were a useful person, especially on the islands. You know what I mean? So if you were rowing boats, if you want to catch your dinner, you have to go out and row, row on the ocean, catch fish. If you want to build a house, you have to build it yourself with stone. You want to feed the animals, you got to go and cut the grass yourself for the side. So strength was worth back in these old days. And this old culture, well, some people might think it's crazy, it goes the whole way through Ireland, England, Scotland, Wales, all the way through the Scandinavian countries, all the way through any indigenous culture in the world has a culture of becoming through stone lifting. And it's only as I got into it, I kind of realised this is everywhere. So what did you do before the gym, like? What was there before the gym? There was no such thing as a gym. What did you lift to show your strength? Something heavy in the natural landscape. And what's heavy in the natural landscape? A stone. A stone. So like I said, it was important enough that we have written about it in our old mythologies. We've written about it in our old stories. As anybody know of the Dukas Archives, the National Folklore Collection in Dublin? Anybody have heard of that? In 1937 to 1939, the Irish government put folklore on the national curriculum for children, school children at the age of 12. And the children were told to go back to their parents and their grandparents and ask them about the local mythologies in their area. And this could be anything. It could be old cures, it could be battles, it could be medicines, but it was also the Dina Kailula, the famous people of the area. And some people, men and women, were famed for their strength. And because of that, they lifted these large testing stones, and the stories passed down from father to son, from mother to daughter, and were recorded by the children in their little copybooks between 37 and 39. All this information was then collated and sent to Dublin. And you can just go online now onto Dukas, type in D-U-C-H-A-S, Dukas, birthright. You can go onto Dukas and you can read up about these stories of anybody, your family name. Type your family name in, type your village in, and you get all these stories. And sometimes you will get a story of a strong man or woman, because there's some wonderful stories of strong women too, lifting these specific stones in the villages. So like I said, they were rites of passage. They were a way of honouring the dead at funeral games, wake games, pre-1840s. A way to honour the dead. They were a way to honour the living. Did anybody watch Braveheart? There was a scene in Braveheart, your man was at the wedding and your man was lifting the big stone, throwing the stone. It was a part of Gaelic culture, not just in Ireland, but across the water too. It was a way of honouring the harvest at Lunasa, especially up the north. Loads of stones attached to lifting them to praise the harvest. So it goes back, like I said, through everything we have. So it's much more important than man lift rock. You know what I mean? This culture, the seam of the culture, which I think is a beautiful reference, the seam of the culture runs deep through who we are as a people. Tommy Nadina Kailula, Tommy Nadina Cleha, we're the people of stone here. Think about the dolmens, cromlechs, standing stones, stone circles, Noth, Doth, Newgrange. We're lifting, moving and shifting stone in Ireland a long, long time. Thousands and thousands of years. So I think it only follows suit that there was a culture of strength and stone lifting too. So that's enough chat, right? I hope you can understand why now. This is a brand new stone. I wasn't aware of this until I came up just about half an hour ago. This is on Coppelbawn, which, as you know, means the white horse. And can you give us the reason behind that again, John? Why it's called the white horse?
Thanks, Dave. There's a quartz vein in runs through the granite, and up here in Ballyknock, and it can go up quite wide. It can get to 2 inches wider. And the stonemasons called it the white horse. And they would say, stay away from the white horse. You couldn't make anything through a white horse because it could also be a fault line in the stone. So it wasn't favoured, but it runs through a lot of the granite here. So we thought it'd be very fitting to get a piece of this to tie it to Ballyknock with a white horse in it. So that white line you can see in the stone is the quartz line. That's the white horse, the mason's enemy, essentially. But you will see it around, and some masons were clever where it wasn't easily available to take another piece of stone and make something, so they might have balanced it in something and put it in as a feature. And where you'll see that is in Blessington at the Horseshoe Arch, just beside the central shop. There's a white horse on the left, and exactly in the same point of the arch going around, there's a white horse on the right hand side. So just have a look at that next time you're there. So that's why the stone's called the white horse. Okay.
Give it a go.
With Coppelbawn.
Like 130 kilos. Oh, give me a bit of an LG.
Fair play to you, Dave Clown. Jesus Christ, that's how it's done. That's how it's done.
Or me, Margaret.